everything in the legislation that's written in family law throughout most of the Western countries, so not just Canada, but many states in the US and the UK and Australia and stuff like that, they're mostly written to enrich and protect women, which would have made sense 30, 40 years ago when deadbeat dads were not, taking care of their kids. But they changed the laws in such a way that you're basically treated as an ATM if you're a man. They extract resources from you. They criminalize you, in the sense where fathers are not appreciated. They're disparaged. They're looked down upon. They're not respected the same way that moms are. And they essentially move his resources to her. And they do it in such a way that allows her to control the untying of the knot, which generally means control comes with authority and power over the family and over the kids, which they generally give to women 8 out of 10 times still. And he's often left in a position where he's bankrupt, destitute, broke, living in his parents' basement, watching his wealth transfer over to his ex while she alienates him from his own kids. Now, I didn't personally have that experience. I didn't have a great experience, but my experience was such that I started to read case law between couples getting divorced when I was going through my own divorce, because I had to square away in my head what I was up against. Because I'm a very strategic player in life. Like, I played chess when I was a kid for years. So I approach a lot of things in life from a strategic perspective. So I wanted to learn as much as I could about divorce, which I did. And again, that was my second red pilling moment, because I thought it would have been easy, but it's not. It's very difficult, and most men get wrecked at the end of it. And it's not great for kids either. I mean, the real losers in this, some would argue, are the fathers, but I think the real losers end up being the kids, because they don't understand the effect that being raised by a single mom has until they become adults, and they realize that most single mother households are essentially beta factories. Like, that's one of the things that softens and weakens males, is 43% of children today are being raised in single parent households, which is either by choice, because moms just get pregnant and they get knocked up by a loser and he runs off, or they end up getting divorced and they end up taking the resources from the father. But either way, it's either by no choice or by choice, choice of their own. But they still are in control of raising the kids 80% of the time, and they don't do a very good job of it. The vast majority of teenage pregnancies, crappy marks in school, runaways, gang activity, suicide attempts. You can go right down the list. The vast majority of the incarcerated today in jails come from a single parent household, from a single mom. So they don't do a very good job at it. So that's part of the beta factory, issue that comes up with softening males. So the whole divorce process for me was a big red pilling moment. So that was number two. The third one was after I got divorced. So I was married for a few years. I was, engaged and dating my ex-wife, for quite a while. And then I went back into the dating pool, I don't know, 2013 or so, I guess. And that's where I started mostly dating women around my age or a little bit younger. So I think I was 38, 39 at the time. And I got involved, like I was dating a bunch of women, having a good time. You're talking to them, and a lot of them were, for the most part, train wrecks. They weren't in very good shape. They weren't very attractive. I've always taken very good care of myself as far as what I eat and exercise. So I came across this one gal who was very fit. She had the typical post-divorce breast augmentation, so she looked hot. A lot of people would have commented at the time when I was dating her, like, she looks like Jennifer Aniston. So she was that caliber of attractiveness, right? So if you're a fan of Friends, you know what I'm talking about. But I dealt with her for about 3 years, and she had 2 kids in tow from her own separation / divorce. And I invested into a relationship with her and kids that weren't mine. And these ego investments never paid off. I got a lot of pushback, a lot of disrespect. I discovered that you have responsibility as a parent to somebody else's kid, but you don't have any authority. And as a father, you generally have responsibility to your own kid with authority. Now, the authority part's is slowly been stripped away, but the deal that you get when you sign up for a single mom sucks, because you end up essentially cuckolding yourself, which, if you don't know what that means, you're essentially choosing to raise another man's seed when you get involved with a single mom, because they're generally not looking for love, they're looking for help,
Yeah.
right? There's this notion that they're looking for love and that they want another stab at it, they want another go at love. Maybe the grass is greener somewhere else, maybe they'll find a better man, sort of thing. And that might be the initial push for it, but they're really not looking for love, they're generally looking for help in life. So I did that ego investment, spent 3 years with them, traveled, paid for certain things, here and there. And at the end of it, I ended up getting, betrayed. She ended up cheating on me a couple times. And the whole notion of putting time, effort, and resources into somebody else and their kids is just such a bad idea. And I didn't know how bad of an idea it was until I went through it. So all of these things that I experienced, the wisdom comes from the pain. The wisdom comes from the bad choices. And I really think that's why younger people today should really pay attention to older guys that have lived life and had those experiences. These 20-something-year-old gurus that are holding out to the public that they're experts of making money or love or women or whatever, they're mostly a bunch of idiots lying, and they're either lying or they don't know what they're talking about. So I think a lot of guys get led astray and don't get the best information because, again, the wisdom that I have has come from the experience with the choices that I made in business, in marriage, in dating, and love, and all that sort of stuff. And the truth of the matter is those three things back to back were really what unplugged me from, society's comforting lies, right? Just do the right thing and get involved with a single mom and be the man that steps up because the other guy was a loser. Because that's a story that you hear from these moms all the time. He's a beta. He was incompetent. He couldn't hold a job down. He was a loser. He didn't know how to change a light bulb. Really. But he was good enough when you said, I do, when you guys got engaged and married, when you felt baby rabies and wanted to have children right there and then. He was good enough then, but later on down the road, he's not good enough. So there's all these concepts that you learn about life and society and culture and women and business and love and all this sort of stuff that at some point, you have to come to the realization and acceptance if you want to live life on your terms, if you want to live life as what I would call an unplugged alpha.
And I think you've only gained that by going through those experiences, and that's why, like, looking at anyone like younger who hasn't gone through it is crazy. So, like, for me, who's 27, who's approaching those years whereby baby rabies becomes a thing, and for anyone who doesn't know that, it's people where a woman literally gets crazy to have a child and wants to have a child.
Yeah.
And that has so much relevance to me because a lot of my friends are a little bit older, and I've heard women explicitly say, yeah, like, I'm looking to have children, not looking to get married, not looking to find a partner, I'm looking to to have children. And all I think in my head is like, Jesus fucking Christ, like, as in, she's on a timer.
Any guy will do that's got financial resources and has sufficient looking genes for her to want to be impregnated by him. I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here and pin down below in the top comment. You'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.